Yes.
What's
She knows
happening?
better.
I must smell tonight or something.
I am
I'm wearing a clean shirt.
plum crazy today. Plum crazy purple. Whatever.
Cyrus is going to be on, but Ray had bald shamed him. See how it is. We're being abandoned. All right.
Ray didn't want to be outshined.
How do you bald shame someone?
I don't know. We're going to have to get details on that.
We'll have to find a whole other podcast on that.
I feel like, yeah. Can we get like a hair care for men like podcasting going on? Should we do that? I guess.
Honestly speaking, being bald makes you as badass as having a beard. You know, for as less hair that you have on your head, you're that much more badass.
I'm not following the logic, so we're just going to move on. How's everybody been this week so far? It's
pretty good.
Wednesday, so.
Pretty cool. Pretty good.
I'm sorry. I'm just considering growing out some bushy eyebrows. What was the question?
Go for the unibrow. Nobody ever goes for the unibrow.
Yeah. It's the new thing. It's what people are into.
Serious question.
All the kids want the unibrow now.
Street.
Yeah.
Lord. Okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna go ahead and kick off the
I'm trying
first.
to get sleep.
Lord.
Go to bed, Ernie. Stop squeaking the rubber ducky.
It's not
Ernie,
even
what did
late.
you do
I've
with
already
my
lost
pants?
control.
We're already
It's
off the
definitely
rails.
Amico after
Sorry,
dark.
Nick.
Yeah, that's okay. It's fine. I'm all good.
It's what
All
we
right,
do.
so we got a couple of topics. We're going to go ahead and kick off with the new look for the Galaxy Purple Amico. He actually showed this just recently. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and show this real quick. So it's this screen. So share that screen. So you guys can see they've actually kind of made this all a little bit more reflective, which is actually kind of nice.
I like that sparkle look. The sparkle.
Yeah.
Almost
Okay,
automotive.
now I kind of see the silver. Yeah. Okay, now I get it. Now I see.
Yeah, the silver kind of sparkles. They've actually looks like they've got some metallic flecks here, even in the purple.
The old one.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that too.
Yeah.
The old one kind of looks like the silver, and the old one kind of looks like golden to me. But like I said, I have bad eyesight, so.
Well, it was a little more. It was a little more matte.
Yeah,
I feel
like a gunmetal or a pewter. So I like it. I don't know if people who pre-ordered on GameStop how they're going to be notified, if GameStop is going to be sending them out anything, or if Intellivision is going to be sending them out anything. I'm sure they can cancel that order if they're upset that this doesn't have the bluish sheen. But I like the look of it. It looks a lot more like the original concept for the Galaxy Purple. So
yeah,
I like it.
Yeah,
it looks kind of nice. You know, it's darker, more reflective. I know Relic said that he liked how the purple kind of looks. Relic said that the purple looks darker than the original version.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think it used to be an iridescent purple. It looks a little bit more like a metallic purple now.
Yeah, it used to be like a color changing. I mean, obviously, I love purple. All right.
And then I'm not sure if I should put this up or not, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up there.
Yes.
I know where he went with that.
Amiibos, the bunch of. Oh God! All right, I didn't read it all the way through. What's he talking about?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Well, that went weird fast. Went weird fast.
Still a renowned Amico fan.
We're starting to kind of climb. Looks like people are starting to kind of filter in. Hey, one more quarter. How's it going, man?
What's happening, everyone?
And how
the color matches the potted plants in my house.
Amico is
not a comparison I ever thought we needed.
Amico is supposed to be the standout of your living room, so you need to coordinate. You know, so we've got to go and buy some purple curtains.
Yeah,
sorry.
Get the purple. You get
the purple goes
purple carpet, purple couch.
You've got
the purple goes well with green, gold, white, black.
Yellow.
Where's like Xbox
where's my color
controllers?
Where's my color wheel for complementary colors?
So you got quite a selection of colors. I mean, if you need any more convincing, just look at the Joker.
Well, I don't know if I consider the Joker a really resounding endorsement for a console intended for kids.
Or the Phantom. Yeah. Hey, the Phantom is
you could have went with Barney and you went with the Joker.
Yeah, his first thought was going with the Joker. Well, I don't know. Is the Barney more evil than the Joker? I mean, some would say.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the Phantom wears purple, and he's cool. He's a cool superhero.
So the next thing that we got here, and we're going through these kind of
Yeah.
quick. I'm hoping some of these will kind of stop and spend a little bit of time on.
Right.
If not, we'll just get the audience to kind of participate, or we'll just kind of go off the rails. We've done that plenty in the past. It's kind of
Yeah.
where we excel. When I keep us on topic, usually people go, "Nope, I'm out."
Yeah. The audience is like potted plants and roofies. You guys have been great
There you
help.
go.
Thanks.
Hey, that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
I feel like
Potted
that's where the
plants and
conversation really should go. It'd probably be more interesting than what I have for tonight. I'll be honest.
We have a good set for tonight. We have a good set for tonight.
Well, that's the show, folks. No.
Yeah.
We've hit the top. There's only downhill to go from here. VGC did an article on the Amico, and I actually really like this kind of online news source. I've used them a lot back when I was doing like gaming news. They're pretty even tempered. They don't really seem to have any kind of agenda. And they did a pretty good article here, I feel like.
They have a lot of short, to the point articles, I think.
Yeah, and this one's not an exception to that rule. It really is pretty much just them detailing out. They're talking about the launch titles, and this isn't anything we haven't seen before. 5 of the 6 titles, you've got Skiing, Cornhole, Farkle, Astro Smash, and Shark, and then the last one that hasn't been announced as of yet, right? So we all kind of know those. But then they actually kind of go on to say that it's going to have a built-in digital store, that games are going to retail for right around $6 Euro, which would basically be close to $3. I want to say, like US, they're going to start around.
No, is that Euro? Can you enlarge your screen?
I think.
Or is that pounds?
Don't know if I can. Hold on, let me see if it'll let me.
I always heard the prices was supposed to be like 10.
There we go.
Oh, that's
That
Euro.
moves us, but that makes it a little easier to read.
Yeah.
So it's basically pounds. $6 in pounds is where they're going to kind of start at. Special editions on physical are going to start at like $17.99.
And they're going to have like
almost $20.
8 physical.
Yeah,
Which I thought they were going to have more than that, to be honest. But
well, they probably will.
I think that's just launch, right?
This is launch day. This is available launch day.
I know. I meant at launch, they're going to have more than that. But I mean, hey, that's still cool though.
Yeah. So we've got Evil Knievel, Biplanes, Patrol, Missile Command, which looks like it actually is going to make it to launch. I know we were kind of like thinking, is this going to be launch or not? Rigid Force Redux Enhanced.
Yeah,
are you outside? Are you standing outside in a wind tunnel, Carl?
I have my fan on.
There is Category 5 winds.
Oh, wow. He's in a hurricane.
Coming from Carl.
Reporting live from Carl's
Reporting
hurricane,
live, brought to you.
Okay.
Sorry, this is my fan. Let me turn it down a bit.
I think digital. I think eventually we probably will get a physical edition with Astro Smash. We'll get physical. If I sing any more of that, we'll get copyright.
Physical.
Now we got a copyright strike. Okay, so Finnegan Fox, Dino Blaster, and Brain Duel, which I haven't really dug too much into. You guys have told me it's a lot like Brain Age on the DS.
Oh, that's cool.
Essentially, yes. Yeah.
So
now,
it's. Let's see. I don't think he had much else on here talking about this, other than just talking about the safe structure and all that, which we already kind of know about, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I want to
go on.
Oh, I just wanted to call out our fellow Amico comrade in arms, OEB Pete, who had who put out a thumbnail earlier today that said 20 games are going to be available on launch. But if you go back and you reread that, I know Chuck had in a video earlier today as well. They said aside from the 6 pack-in, there will be more than 20 other games.
Ooh,
so
nice.
We're looking at least 27 games that they feel are ready to go at launch. Could be 28, could be 30, could be 35. They're still looking at
30.
those.
So let me share this again and make this full screen so we can kind of highlight that, because that was at the very top of the article here. More than 20 others at launch, some with physical editions.
Yeah. So you're looking at more than 20 means 21, 22, 28. It means
Right.
less than 30. Otherwise, you'd say, more than 30.
You would say 30
Right.
or more.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Now,
And
we know...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, we know games like Cloudy Mountain and Night Stalker are being held as kind of their standout entries.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
How we doing, guys?
Glad you
Not
made
too
it,
bad.
man.
We're doing well.
I thought I'd stop in for a little bit, say hi. Sorry,
Yo.
tell
I
you
happened to
guys
see you
sorry.
down there, and I'm like, wait a minute, Mike's here. I thought Mike
Yeah.
wasn't going to be able to make it.
the life
Nice.
of the party.
You know what?
Now it's a party.
My wife is still upstairs. I told her I was coming out to hang out in this thunderstorm. And you know what? I haven't been on in a while, and I felt bad. So I was like, I got to come on and be with my buddies.
Yeah.
We're
There you go,
always
bud.
happy to have you on here.
Are you near
You
the
gotta
same...
walk up.
Cyrus doesn't believe it.
Is he still?
Hello,
a thing?
You gotta.
What the fuck?
What you
He's
gotta
still a
do?
thing?
You gotta walk around us. You gotta walk
That
around
was
outside,
good.
holding up a huge lightning rod, because that'll totally keep away the thunder.
Yeah.
Thunderstorm, Carl's in a hurricane. We're like the Postal Service. We will come to you guys for this live stream, no matter the
I
weather.
am a captain,
Fish sticks for
Sailing
everybody.
Go.
Sailing the
Just
high
with
seas
the Gordon.
of a hurricane.
I'm just going to let this ride for a little while. Okay.
Oh, thank you,
So-
Cousin Born. I wonder if Mullis ever had a mullet. Yes, I did. Actually.
Oh, no. There we
Uh,
go. I gotta highlight that one.
Time.
There we go. That can stay up there for a while.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
thank you.
I love the avatar too.
Mike is
Adam.
all around business these days.
That's right.
Hey, you know what?
Right.
I'm going for John.
Business.
Going for John.
Working on it.
Business
He's been
in the
working
back,
hard,
party
man.
in the front.
So actually, I got to get rid of this first, and then I can touch John.
We've all
I'm
got to get
working
rid
on
of
it.
that. I feel like.
I'm working on it.
Me too. I'm working on it, man.
Apparently, you have to play. It's required you play Tempest if you're in a storm.
Yeah,
I'm not,
Yeah. Ride the lightning.
Okay. Works for me.
Oh, you hear it? Hold on. You can hear the thunder out here.
Like, what are we
A
listening
little
to?
bit. I'm
was
kind
like-
of listening to silence, I feel like, but
Silence of the Lambs.
so I'm glad Mullis is here because that gives us another person for the next topic, which is achievements on the Amico. I have a video that talks about not only how leaderboards are going to work, but it's going to talk about achievements, which he kind of let slip on this. And this is something that he did. I can find it because I had it up. Here it is.
Ask Tommy
With
said
OB Pete.
online leaderboards.
Mhm.
Are you still hoping to see those for launch?
Yeah.
So that
Yep. Those are on schedule for launch. Again, I can't predict the future.
Yeah.
This interview we're doing this in March of 2021. We're currently on schedule. But who knows what can happen, but we're still trying to target that. But if those have to push a couple months, then they push a couple months. We're not gonna, we're not gonna sacrifice the quality of the machine itself. Because the most important thing, the same team that works on leaderboards is working on the store. Is on the digital store, which is also, it's the whole back end stuff, right? So it's the store, it's the gift cards, it's the leaderboards. Everything that's kind of in the cloud, if you will, like AWS, everything that we run through the Amazon stuff. That's a team of people, and we have, I think, 5 or 6 people that's all they do all day long is that stuff.
Tommy, is there anything you can share about the design of what these leaderboards will look like in regards to the regions, the countries, like the territories? Have you thought about like how that would be structured so people could do I compete against people in British Columbia, or is it local to my city? Like what's anything you can share in that around
the leaderboards, I call them our time and space leaderboards. So it's
That's
separated
a cool name, actually.
It's separated by state or province.
Yeah.
So being in BC, and me in California, right? So it's separated by state and province, country, and then the world.
Right.
And then in the time continuum, it's by month and year and all time. So if I wanted to see who's the leader of the month of February in California for Astro Smash, I can do that. And if it's, or I can see
do it as the omnipresent CEO, or can I do it as just a regular player can just check out these like and filter?
No, everybody can. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's part of it. And the other great thing about the leaderboards is that I've also, I've combined the achievement.
Well, let's pause there for a second, just kind of talk about the leaderboards a little bit. So he went into kind of, and honestly, I don't know if this is like new information. This seems to come up almost every time there's like an Ask Tommy. I feel like there's more questions about the leaderboard. How do you guys feel kind of about the leaderboard? I mean, is this something like you're super stoked about, or are you just kind of looking forward to it because like it's going to be the main online connectivity we're going to have with each other right now?
Well, I've never really been one who's ever been excited for leaderboards, but I'm more interested in the achievements, how he's doing this unique achievement system for
and
the
we'll get to that.
Amico.
We'll get to that in a second, and I don't know if I'm sold on that, but we kind of want to keep it to this section so we can cover this.
I am.
I mean, it sounds cool. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll wait. Anyone else want to go?
I was going to say, as far as leaderboards, I think it'd be really cool. And even Pete there was mentioning about having like a friend leaderboard. I think that'd be kind of cool if you're able to, get a gamer tag or however that's going to work out and kind of get an all access panel or an after dark panel and have us have our own leaderboards and try to compete against each other. Stuff like that. A friends leaderboard to where we can compete against each other, have it all ranked. That would be sweet.
And I think that's exactly what he's aiming for with that. I'm like 100% sure he has that in mind.
Yeah.
I think that's the next best thing to online play. I mean, obviously online play is the be all end all of competition, but I mean, Chuck just I can't type in the chat because I'm on my phone, but Cousin Born, I love you, man. That's all I can
He's cracking me up tonight, man. He's on a roll.
If he dies, he dies. I am great champion. Okay.
How about that? Have the power.
I got to move. I'm moving from here because Son made a good point of like the guy with no cameras on screen and Mullis isn't.
You move me off camera if you want. I don't mind.
But that's the leaderboards. I think Chuck had a great idea if we could customize the leaderboard so we could do just like friendly, like we were doing. Remember when the Moon Patrol demo came out, right?
Yeah.
And we were all trying to post our high scores to see who was going to make it through, and that would be perfect for this. Sans any kind of online play.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm
actually
for the leaderboards.
Actually, Pete, I think came up with the idea, but I mean, I would just agreeing. But yeah, that it was. I think that to have it to where we can actually see each other and compete against each other, have those rankings. Heck yeah, I'm all about that. If we're gonna do this, leaderboards at all, why not? Right?
Yeah.
It sounds really cool.
I'll say part of my response for when we're talking about achievements, but I am excited about leaderboards. For one, I don't pay too much attention to leaderboards now because you never place on it. Whatever your score is, it's never going to be enough for, the other 20,000 people or 200,000 people who have played and perfected that game. So it's like, why bother having a leaderboard? You're not on it. So who cares? This is actually something that's achievable. Yes, there's a high score, but there's a high score this week. There's a high score this month, this year. There's a high score in your state, in your country, in globally over the world and all time. So you have a chance to actually, if you're really good and you really want to commit for this week, then maybe you get on the leaderboard for your state this week or this month. And that's meaningful to you. Whereas otherwise, for a lot of games, it wouldn't be. And look, we're not all going to be the best players. So that means a lot of people can have a chance to be good at a game and see themselves on a leaderboard and get that thrill of, being best or being close to best, being within reach where they could otherwise never be. And the fact that it's by time and keeps refreshing and it's localized, so maybe you have a chance. I'm in New York. There's a lot of people here, but I'm going to take my Amico on vacation, and I'm going to be in Delaware, and there's like 4 people there, so I might have a chance to be in the top 5 amongst those 4 people.
Hey, better yet, me and Nick can compete at being to see who's the worst.
Or to see who gets the most lost in
Here's the other
So
thing.
here's another interesting question that kind of leads into this. How many countries will be available in? And I think right now we're looking at like at least most of Europe and the United States and Canada, right?
Well, it's being marketed in Dubai. We don't know if it's going to be there in the Middle East and on launch.
Oh, it'll definitely be in the Middle East, the richer sections like Dubai, where I think it'll probably end up being there at launch, maybe.
Nick,
What?
Oh, sorry. Cyrus is the best.
Yeah, he's cracking me up tonight. What do you got, Rap?
Before we move on, there's something I want to talk about that with what and television is doing that these other systems don't actually bring, that they could actually do with something like this leaderboard system. In past jobs, I put on conferences for a number of conferences over a number of years. So I had to find an entertainment option for 1,000 people who are coming to a conference, 5,000 people coming to a conference. So you have a DJ for one night, you have a socialization mingle bar, whatever, for another night. You're looking for an opportunity for people to play together or do something together and meet and network. And now you're talking about a system that can create a closed leaderboard. So you could have something like Brain Duel, or you can have something like skiing or bowling, or some of these cornhole, some of these less complex games that are accessible to everybody. You don't need 50 units for something like this. You could have 5, you can have 10 units at a conference for a couple $1,000s. I mean, you're usually looking at, $10, $15, $20,000 for an entertainment option at a conference or a convention. So you put a few of those in, you get them on a localized leaderboard where they are networking with one another, or they're basically within a secure, we're all on the same leaderboard. And then people can pull out their phones, they can play against each other, and they're, who is this? Who's Jelly Bean 52? And they're talking to people and, playing the games with them and talking and trying to, beat their coworkers who are there with them at that convention, beat their, other attendees, try and move up. And they're short, very casual games. In some of them, you have to talk to people, or you're interacting, or cooperating, or competitive. It just creates a really good environment for people to play. Sorry, Carl. For people to play together and against one another.
I'm not doing anything, dude. You can do what you want to. It's fine.
We're just hearing sounds. That's all. Go ahead.
Oh, all right.
People want to talk about like how this system is not going to sell, has no appeal. Here's a situation where this system can excel and can sell very well, and you have a localized leaderboard, something that Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo can't provide. It's an interesting situation that provides itself to be sold.
Would that work via just like Wi-Fi? Like if you're all on the same Wi-Fi, you can localize it by that. I wonder what that'll take.
Yeah, I'm sure the leaderboards would curate on AW. Everything's going to have to run up through. Yeah, everything's going to have to run up through AWS. So.
What I mean is, if you do it like by location, do you have to do it by like a street address, and would that grab somebody else's? Like if somebody else had a system down the road, would it grab them, or would you be able to localize it by who all's on this local network?
No, right? You do it by IP address. You do it by IP address.
No, by the way, Tommy was talking with Pete on this interview. He was talking about the user IDs that you could secure that, yes, you two want to be on the same leaderboard together.
Ooh.
So you would submit.
Okay.
You would submit, and then just the verification.
He's talking about how do you do local, town, and city and state. That should do by IP.
Yeah, that will probably be by IP because you'd have different IP ranges from different providers in different areas.
No, I think it's probably going to be a profile, because what if you travel? If you travel with the Amico, how are you ever going to see that you're on the Delaware top list? I mean, if I'm on vacation for a week.
You wouldn't be playing in Delaware then. You could
if I'm traveling with my Amico.
You could totally wreck it in New Hampshire and nobody'd know. Be like,
well, if you go to Delaware, Well, if you go to Delaware with your Amico, and
then you have something to do in Delaware,
right? And then if you're nice,
I just want to
If
make sure
you're,
that I just
but
want to
if
make sure that Jelly Bean 52 is on my leaderboard. That's all I'm saying.
okay, so if you are actually doing that, if you're in Delaware and you want to get on Delaware's leaderboard, I'm imagining you're gonna have to either manually put that in, or it's gonna grab your IP address of the ISP that you've connected to and say, "Oh, this is in Delaware. I'm gonna put you on the Delaware leaderboards."
So anyone with a VPN can basically just,
cheat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you could
who's
move.
connect-
I
they
would
could all
say
kind of like
cheating.
Northwest
Hold on.
Territories.
I'd say
Hold on.
you'd be in different leaderboards.
outside
Yeah.
of who is going to actually seriously, who's going to connect to a VPN so they could go be on someone else's leaderboard? I mean, this is not the console for you.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
true.
I mean,
When I was
that
Fair enough.
we're
when I
not
was
playing
in-
Halo here.
Yeah.
when I was in
Some of us are going to be
school-
competitive.
When I was in school, I was in like a dormitory type environment. So and they had rec center and everything. So I could see a situation like, let's say the rec center just bought an Amico, and I brought one to my dorm room. So yeah, I could see this kind of leaderboard working well in that kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody wanted to be on board with it. But before we lose Mullis here, let's go ahead and listen to some of the rest of this, because I know he probably wants to be on in this conversation. And I'd rather have him here when we do this. So,
Finding achievements into the leaderboards as well.
Achievements?
Meaning, what's that?
What are you talking about? Achievements? There's achievements?
Yeah. So one of the things that annoyed me about achievements is that
and trophies.
everybody has the same stuff. Like, you've killed 1,000 people in God of War. Boom. And so you can have multiple. Well, on Amico, it's completely different, where your achievement, you're the only person in the world that has that achievement. So if OEB Pete, if he has the fastest time in skiing on a certain slope for the month of August in the province of British Columbia, or even the country of Canada, whatever, again, you have all these different levels. If you win, that becomes your achievement, and no one can ever take it away from you, and you'll have it forever. It's a badge of honor. And here's the best part, Pete. We actually email you, and the winners, we email you a certificate with all of the data on it. You scored this on this month, and you are the champion of boom, 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 boom. It has my digital signature on it, and you can actually print it out and hang it on your wall, and it'll be in your it'll be on your profile forever. No one will ever have the achievements that you have.
Can I search your profile and look at your achievements? And is that something other players can do?
That's what we're again, because of privacy issues.
Yeah.
It would have to be something where we'd have to connect in, because the other thing that we're doing is me and you and Retro Advisory Board and Atari Creep and Mike Garvey and Retro Bro and Cyrus Martin.
He's
and
here. He's here.
Pete the Amico Kid and
all of them.
we could literally have our own group of leaderboards and see each other's stuff.
That was my follow-up question. Can we create like a friends group of just us to compete?
Yeah.
So,
You left me out? Thanks, Tommy.
that's okay. I'm always left out
You
on
let
those.
me out too. Don't worry about it.
Damn.
Ralph was on the TV. He was on the TV. He's a star now.
I'll be sending signatures.
Thank you.
So this is kind of interesting,
for him.
and
Of course.
I'm not really
Yeah, but
sure
no
how
fool.
I feel about this. Oh.
What?
We have a wild
What?
Michael Garvey.
Mr. Garvey.
Garvey.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
no.
what
He
up?
did say he was coming back in May. It is May. It's the end of May, but he did not lie.
Hey,
The very,
you know,
very month of May.
social media.
I need something that just scrolls along the bottom and says a wild Garvey has now appeared. I need to set that up at some point. Welcome, Michael Garvey. It's good to see you again, man. Glad you're back and play, man.
Yes.
We've missed
Brother
you.
Garvey.
So,
I've missed you, brother.
I
So
want
how
to
do you
start
feel
on this
about
one
this,
because
Nick?
I'm not sure how I feel about this. And I'm of two minds. On one hand, it's kind of cool because you get like the email and they're all kind of unique, and that part's kind of interesting. But achievements have kind of become like the completionist Bible now, right? You know, you completed a game when you get like your 1,000 gamer score or you get your platinum trophy. This kind of throws that all kind of out the window. And I don't know if that's really better or worse. I don't know. How
Again,
do you guys
though,
feel about it?
Like Mike said, this is probably not the console for you if you are an achievement junkie and you need to 100% everything and get all of those achievements. There's not going to be such thing as all of the achievements. The word achievement for Amico is different than the word achievement for Xbox or PS4.
Right.
You're not going to get an achievement for, killing all of the asteroids on Astrosmash. You're going to get the achievement for being, on that top 10 list for that time and space.
Don't you
Okay,
feel they should call it something else then, though? Don't call it achievements.
I'm gonna
Call it
ask
something new.
Why not? Why? Achievement means it's an achievement for most of the audience who are getting on here. The fact that
Right.
Xbox and PlayStation have gone with and they want this word to be your achievement is the fact that you have, found all the secret Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. That does not mean anything for most of the population.
Right. And PlayStation doesn't call it achievements either. They call them trophies.
Yeah.
They call
So
them trophies.
I just have a question.
Go to-
I mean, what are this level of the achievements? Like, are they going to have achievements for like dying 1,000 times or something?
The level is
I'm-
off the hook.
You laugh, but that is actually an achievement in the game.
No,
Too
I know
Human.
there are.
Yep.
That is an achievement. It's actually an achievement, not 1,000 times, but it's an achievement in Ori and the Blind Forest. How many times you die? I know.
That brings up a good point. This leads into an interesting point. What kind of achievements, if that's what we're going to call them, should the Amico have with this structure? I mean, just the high score for the month of May on Sunday and in a rainstorm isn't really, oddly specific, but it shouldn't be the only thing that should be there. There should be like
Not
a lot
really
more going
that
on, I would think,
impressive.
right?
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I agree with that, Nick and Carl. But go ahead, Rob.
You saw in the battle tanks footage on one of those recent videos, you saw a bunch of achievements within that game. Can you destroy 20 tanks? Can you who's killed the most helicopters? So there are other achievements that they're looking at. I don't know if those are going to be worked into the system. I would think that you get an achievement for completing Night Stalker, for completing Cloudy Mountain, for finding all of the hidden gear in Cloudy Mountain. That might be an achievement. There's a lot of things they can do for it as an achievement, and it won't take that much for if the system is online and for you to go through that game, if that is being relayed back to a server for them to be able to say like, yes, you've done that, or to verify in that game, in that save file that you've done that. So they could build on it.
And then you got the printouts, which I actually think are kind of cool. I know some people don't think that's great. I think, and I'm pretty sure it's automated system. It's not like there's a person going, waiting there and like looking or anything like that. So
yeah.
But that's really cool because right. I'm sure one's coming. Oh, here comes the next score.
I know this is going to be the day. It's a slow day.
All right, he's like working all day. Damn, it's been 8 hours. We only had 2 high scores today. No, obviously it's an automated system, but I think that's kind of cool because I wouldn't mind hanging that up, printing that out and hanging it up. And obviously it's not going to be for small little things every 2 minutes that you do, but it's going to be something where you achieved one of the top 5 scores in the country or something like that, and I think that's a cool option. I mean, they used to do that back in the day, and that just brings that nostalgia factor back.
Even like enduring a tornado while being on After Dark.
Yeah.
You mean your mic? Yes, we do this weekly. So yeah, I think it's an interesting concept. I kind of like where Rab's going, where you kind of have a mix of like regular achievements for doing certain milestones in the game mixed in with these more kind of future-proofed achievements
He's
to where
frozen.
you're never really completely done, right? But and you always have something you can kind of strive for as long as you're interested in the game, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of cool. I think I actually blasted through all our topics in like 40 minutes. Probably should have let you guys ramble more.
We have one more. We have the non-Amico stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we had a couple other Amico topics as well, I think.
Go ahead, Rab. If you got something else Amico focused, let's stick on topic there.
Yeah.
Well, we have those physical releases. There's 8 physical releases that are announced on launch, and we know Night Stalker, we know Astro Smash is eventually going to get a physical release. If the system's successful, they'll do more than 30% of the games with a physical release. What are you guys' thoughts about retro gaming stores now, and the fact that you have these digital systems out, like the PS4 or PS5 all digital, and the Series S all digital? What are your thoughts about systems like Amico and the Evercade and, these niche or boutique systems that are putting out physical media? What are your thoughts on how they may help or find a niche in retro gaming stores and kind of help them along? Do you think, this will kind of help them 5, 6, 10 years from now when, they're looking at 10 years worth of very little physical media?
Yeah, I think it will, because as far as physical goes, I wish there was more, to be honest. I love physical. I love collecting. Obviously, a lot of us love to collect. Having that box on a shelf that lasts like for a lifetime is, and I'm sure there's ways to back up stuff. I know that, but as far as tornadoes starting again, the whole thing.
No worries. Laughing at Cy.
I feel like Mike's video is absolutely frozen.
Unfreeze him. He just won't.
No, he's stuck.
But no, I think it'd be cool. Digital is great, but I'm talking about like after Amico 2 comes out, or Amico, I'm down the line when it's obsolete. You're gonna have that physical stuff on your shelf, and I think that's awesome. So I really do hope they do a lot more, or even do all of them eventually over time, and just with a special release, just so we could physically have that in the shelf. Maybe not, but I'd be looking forward to that.
The thing is that about physical media, it's going to go bad over time. Like old cartridges are going to need repairs, etc., and so on. Discs will rot. So in this day and age, we're going to need alternatives for said game stores.
I feel. Go ahead. Sorry, I thought you had.
Well, no, that's basically it.
Mike was a beautiful man. He left us so soon.
He was struck by lightning.
I feel like you missed this. You should see this.
Okay, you like it. His final words were rat farts.
I will be right back.
And honestly, I kind of wonder, and this might be an interesting topic to go off on for a little while. Do you guys think these consoles that actually have some sort of physical medium are going to start to get more predominant at not only retailers, but like game shops in general, because they are selling a physical medium that's something they can carry in the store versus just carrying like a console that you have to buy everything online for?
Yeah, because retro gaming stores, Walmart gets no money when, PlayStation sells a digital copy. They have nothing. So Walmart is going to say like, yeah, we want Amico to be successful if they're putting new games in the store. Right now, so is Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. But, if they are moving away from that model and most of their revenue is on digital purchases and they're putting out fewer and fewer, products for people to select and spend money and go to a Walmart and spend that money, they're going to look at these other alternatives. Right now, they're small, but 5 years from now, maybe a different story.
Are you doing this to me, Nick, because I haven't been on in a while and you're mad at me?
Some passive aggressive.
Hey, Born is the one saying it. I'm just posting it
Born
because
and
it's funny.
Siren.
I'm just posting it because it's really funny.
And they know I'm on my phone and can't respond. That's what it is.
See, I am enabling you to be able to respond because you could respond vocally if you wanted to. I just happen to put them up and Rabba's talking. Pure coincidence, I promise.
So, look at that! Did you see that? That was the lightning shining off of the. Yeah. So, my take on the physical media too is, Rab's absolutely right. There's shut up, Garvey.
He sees it now.
Is that why my? Which reminds me, I have to make public tonight my most expensive games in my collection video that was for members only. And by the way, Sonic CD is worth a lot of money, so shut it. Okay, so
as are many bad games, but I like Sonic CD. I'm not going there.
That's it. Wow.
I just want to play both sides of the fence.
Exactly.
Wow, that's all right. Okay.
Anyway, you were saying Rab was absolutely right. Continue.
And now I lost it. No.
Welcome back, by the way.
Oh my God! All right.
We were talking about retailers.
Yes. Thank you. And the truth of the matter is that no big box or game store is ever going to allow, and when I say allow, I mean they have the leverage to never allow an all digital future, right? So, and I mean they the minute GameStop thinks that they are going to lose any physical media capability and sales, they'll tell Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, we're going to stop carrying your product. And that game of chicken will not end well for anyone.
Yeah. I mean, look at CDs. CDs are like 1% and they still sell them there. So there's you're just not going to make games and see them in stores. You'll still see them.
Do they still hold the same sway, though? I mean, PlayStation sold almost as many consoles just from their website as they did anywhere else.
Yes, because they're not readily available. As soon as they're readily available, that tune will change.
Yeah, and you tell Sony's investors that Walmart isn't going to be carrying, Sony products, they will they will flee.
Nick, you did a video on it. Remember the Saturn?
Yeah.
Remember what KB Toy and Hobby did to Sega? That just about sunk them. And KB Toy and Hobby wasn't exactly Toys R Us and Walmart, but it was enough.
I guess the question comes in is, are we in a different era now? Have things changed enough that not being in a retail store and being able to sell things just online is more feasible now than it was then? Then brick and mortar is what you had. Internet wasn't as prevalent around that time, right? People weren't doing online shopping as much.
Yes and no. So I'll say this.
More mail order.
You cannot.
True. Mail order.
In my opinion, you cannot. You could survive. Can the Amico survive without GameStop? Absolutely. Can Amico survive without Walmart? No. They need Walmart. They could damn sure use Best Buy. I don't know what they've got going on with Best Buy. They need Amazon, of course. I mean, yeah, could Amazon help them out a lot? Yes. But unless this holiday season, Mommy Jane can walk into a store while she is, and especially post-COVID, I have a feeling that people want to get out and shop so badly this year. Retail is going to get swamped and destroyed this year like they've never seen, because now people are going to want to go out and shop.
Yeah, so honey, I want to go clothes shopping with you.
I have a question though. Who is Mommy Jane?
Well, soccer Mommy Jane.
Disregard, retracted.
Mommy Jane's
No, it's out there in the ether now. You can't retract it.
Damn it.
It's on YouTube. It's there forever.
Well,
or unless,
all right.
unless I delete
Well,
After
Emma.
Dark, which I probably won't.
Okay,
Last
so-
shopping trip with
So to
Mommy
finish up-
Jane. One more time to kill the pain.
I mean, we all wear many
Look at
hats.
Yes.
All right,
Look at that. All right. So to finish my point real quick, and then Carl, I'll get let you get in. The thing that the differentiator here that I think is going to be cool is if he does this. I don't know if you guys remember. It might not have been the first time he was on our show, but it was probably, I think it was the second time. And he was talking about the prospect of what physical media could be. Now, I get that we've seen, behind the scenes, we've seen prototypes, and
Well,
he's
you
shown
guys
us some
have.
things we can't talk about.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
have.
you guys
not-
have. Most of the people on the panel tonight have no idea what you're talking about. Just so you
Okay.
know.
So, and that's all that's all I'm allowed to say. But a year ago,
You could say it looked really good.
He came up with a prospect that take the Hot Wheels game, right? Canyon Crash or whatever the hell he's going to call it. Imagine that you could buy that game
Did you call it Canadian Crack?
No,
What?
I thought he said Canyon Crunch.
Canyon Crash.
Oh,
I
Colossal
don't.
Crash.
Yeah, the whole crisscross crash thing still, but never mind. Anyway, so imagine you go and you want to buy that game for your kids, right? The physical media is a Hot Wheels car with the RFID that has the game on it for $5,
Be right back.
right? Because the game's $3.99 or whatever, and the Matchbox, or it's $4.99. The Matchbox card's $1, right? Which most Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars are these days. Imagine that you have a physical car, perfectly usable Hot Wheels car, but when you touch it to the Amico, downloads the game. That would be an amazing way to sell your physical media.
It sounds like an amiibo to me, but there's
Exactly-
nothing wrong
it
with
exactly
that.
sounds like an amiibo. But
There's
let me tell you,
absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it sounds just like what you're describing. Sounds just like what
Or an
Nintendo's done with
Amiibo.
amiibos. It just doesn't unlock a full game and unlocks features in various different games.
right? Which this would download the game. This would have the game code to download in the car. So yeah, it's exactly like an amiibo, and that is exactly why it would be an incredible way to sell physical media, because look at how big the amiibo market is.
Yeah.
And that's just for Nintendo.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Amiibo was an incredible idea. I mean, it kept, Nintendo making a lot more money than it would have during the lean years of the Wii U. The Amiibo craze was fantastic. And, we have QR codes on lots of things to, take the place of a bunch of information that people don't want to pay for extra flyers that you don't want to look at, but you want that info. You just scan it and suddenly you've got all this information on your phone. You can give them a small toy, a small object, a small token that has all this information on it. And it's collectible things for people who like to collect the games, who want a physical copy of the game. The fact that I'm putting it in and it's reading from that object, the information off that object on the gaming console itself. Most people are less worried about that. Some purists really do want that. People want to make sure the data is there. It's not going to be disappearing if the servers go down and Amico goes for bust. So they're making plans to make sure, the data is secure and everything is there so that people always will have access to those games, and the device that has the RFID chip on it always has it. Oh, thanks, Carl.
before you,
Uh-huh.
all right.
Bye, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
Hi, Carl.
That was kind of sudden. I
Well,
think he said
fine.
something like he had to go, and then all of a sudden, poof.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good idea, and the fact that most people don't care that all of the data is on a disc or a cart. It's not the way most physical media works now on games anyway. It's not the way all CDs work now, and there's additional information that you might have to download or go to a site, and it's just like reading. Yes, you've bought the disc, so now you can download all of this other stuff as well.
Except for the Switch, physical media on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, pretty much from the Xbox One, PS4 on.
Quite a while ago with Steam, with PC.
Yep, have all been more or less installers.
Yeah.
That's all they are. They're you cannot. It's not like the 360 and the PS3 and the and the Wii and stuff where you put the disc in, the disc has the game. You have to install. The Switch is the only exception to that because they're still using carts.
Well, and that brings up another point as far as where the direction of games have gone and why I think this kind of back turn to this kind of game with this kind of physical media is kind of important. The further along we've gotten, and it was kind of bad. It started in the PS3s where I first really recall it. Started getting bad in the PS4 era. Now we're like in the PS5 and the Series era, where it feels like most games, even if you're playing single player, you're still connected somewhere. And if the server goes down, you no longer have access to the game. It doesn't really matter, right? And so much of it is, like Mike said, installed, but you don't really own any of your product anymore. It's gotten more poignant in the last couple of years than even when I initially made my video discussing it way back when, of how much do you actually own the games that you buy these days, right? Because you kind of don't, because you're almost always connected and to servers.
That even goes like, the same topic brought up the other day with a friend of mine was like movies. Like, why do you even have physical movies? I'm like, because, what if digital ends up getting burnt out? And I'll always have this, no matter where I'm at, as long as I have a player, I can play this physical copy. And then when it goes to the games, like 20 years from now, there's going to be eBay listings of Amico physical that are going to be like, oh, box only, no physical game included, because they're going to hold on to the car or whatever else it's in there, and they're going to sell the boxes. I mean, how many of you are actually going to, like, I'm going to go out and buy, when this comes out, every time I see a physical game at a store, I'm just going to buy one. Next time I go out the store, buy two. For the price, I'm going to collect them, because, 15, 20 years down the line, I'm going to have a giant collection of these, and I'm going to start now.
Yeah, and I could see that being the case. And that, honestly, that kind of like the box just having a code, that's when I stopped buying physical PC games.
Yeah, 2004, 2005.
Yeah, the discs were getting insane. Like, you needed, it was still around the time that they were doing, CDs, and you could have 5 or 6 CDs.
The multiple discs, yeah.
Yes, 7. And floppies were the worst. It was like 35 floppies or something ridiculous. And then finally just said, you know what, we're done. We'll still have a product in the store. It'll be a box. You could sell it. You can get tax. But it's just going to have a key code. And then people didn't want to buy them. Hi, Pete.
Hey,
and
Pete.
People did not want to buy them. So they stopped selling them for the most part, except for those very inexpensive Java-focused games that you can buy and that actually has a disk in it that you can install. And those are primarily the ones that you actually see. And they're usually right next to where you'd get a Razer or Corsair gear and stuff like that. It's like a cheap little add-on for grandma or whatever that just wants a CD for some reason.
If I go to Micro Center, I can still find several hundred computer games. So that's nice to see. I mean, they will have just about everything there.
Walmart still has computer games.
Yeah. So does Target does as well. I think Best Buy will still have. I don't know about Best Buy, but I know Target will still have a good 12 computer games at the very end of that aisle.
What is for dinner tonight, Nick?
This looks like rice with a pork chop with some sort of sauce on it that I don't know what it is. Black beans covered with a creme fraiche.
I can't get it. I can't get it.
That is outstanding. I
did not bring enough for everybody.
That's okay. We had shrimp rigatoni with a creamy tomato sauce tonight.
Tonight we've been doing a nice creme fraiche. It's a beautiful.
We've been doing this thing called Home Chef, and basically
we got HelloFresh. That's the one that we're using.
At HelloFresh, we started with HelloFresh, but Home Chef's actually a little less expensive, and their portions are larger. And so far the food's been just as good. Last night we had French onion steak. Tonight we had shrimp rigatoni with a creamy tomato sauce. And honestly, if you think me cutting meat to do Chef Mike to do beef stroganoff in the pressure cooker was cool, we should do an Amico After Dark but it's time for me to make one of these damn things.
Hey, we'll do a cooking show. Let's do that.
We'll
next.
just have everybody cooking while we're on there, and we'll just chat about topics.
right.
I mean, it's basically the same as us sitting in front of the computer. It just will look a little less professional, but like
That's right.
I've ever looked
I'll
professional in my
barbecue.
life.
That'll be fine.
You guys have heard it here.
Beers.
Achievements on Amico.
Hurdy gurdy gur.
We're the physical medias right here.
And then he falls down the stairs.
10 pumpkin pies. Ah!
So you heard it here, guys. Monday nights at 8 Eastern. What is that? 5 Pacific. It's Amico all appetites.
Amico.
That's right. It's our new show.
Yeah. Kamikaze's so cool, man. I haven't streamed it in about a week and a half, but he's popped in on my streams, and I might stream tonight. Who knows? But he's been popping in, and he's a cool guy, man.
What's happening, Patrick? And Sean, I saw you there earlier.
So
Yeah, no, Kami's always been a cool dude. Me and him are probably going to hook up this weekend on some Destiny.
oh, that's outstanding.
He's been hitting me up wanting to do some Destiny too, I think. So we'll probably do that some this weekend.
You know, I could. There's probably some stuff, you know, us over here in the Xbox side could cross-play with you PS people. You know,
Well, I actually, we're both doing it on PC. Can you crossplay with PC?
not on Destiny, and I hate Destiny, so no.
Okay.
I think you can, but I hate Destiny, so no.
Hey, Patrick,
I'm waiting for Kami to turn on you. He's going to go like downvote all your videos now. He's
Hey,
like,
Patrick, if you
"Ah!"
you're going to want some of this merch, Patrick. I know you love you some DJC. You're going to want, I got many hats available. So you can't find them anywhere. And they're available. Look at the camo one. You're going to really want this one. Available nowhere.
Available nowhere.
Cyrus, I'm in a rocker. I'm in a glider. This is my old man glider because I'm retiring, and I just want to sit here out in the thunderstorm. Get off my lawn!
What happened to the thunderstorm out there? It just
didn't
passed you
see the
over?
light- No,
You
it's
shouldn't
still,
drink all
still
Duck
raining.
I was like,
Peppers.
darn it. I want to see some rain, some thunder, some action. No,
you didn't see the lightning like flashing off of
I
my.
saw the lightning.
Yeah, we saw it when you were actually facing things away too. Like it was going crazy out there.
When you froze, we thght you got struck by it because you were like,
Rat farts. So that yeah.
Rab fart? What did I do?
No, not rat farts.
No.
Oh,
He's
that's
talking
right.
like from Caddyshack when the guy was like
Caddyshack.
cursing.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, have you seen Caddyshack?
Yeah. I thought you
so-
I just heard
That's
Rab
that's
fart.
the nod of a guy who hasn't seen Caddyshack. Oh yeah, sure. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah, I
Caddyshack.
know that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't have all the lines to Caddyshack. It's been a long time.
look at that.
Since it's my #1 movie of all time, I can recite most of that movie for you.
Storm. There's a storm rolling in on the horizon.
You don't hear it? You don't hear the
Right
thunder
off
now? then?
Mike's porch.
I mean, that's not me. You know, that's not me working out still.
I thought
Chuck?
Carl was out on the other side of the screen making all that noise.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I
Oh
get.
god. Okay.
This is Mike
Oh my
Mullis
God.
for NLG weather. It's raining
So-
like shit out here.
I do want to cover
All right,
one
go
thing, and I'm kind of sad Carl's not here because Carl really wanted to do this topic. But I'm going to share one more thing, and then we can go back to like meandering through. Share screen.
So true, Cyrus. So true.
Trying to identify his neighborhood. I'm sure they are. So this is going to be kind of interesting. Sega's kind of coming back a little bit.
What's this?
Oh, you didn't see this?
I don't think I did.
I'm marked out for this.
Okay, we got a bunch of fighters. Okay, final round.
Chuck, stop playing.
Have I not? Why have I not seen this?
Chuck,
It
stop
is-
playing.
It is not strictly Amico. So
Oh, you can
no,
definitely
we can
talk
meander.
whatever you want to.
Chuck, this isn't Soul Calibur, Chuck.
Oh, that was like a wrestling move right there.
This is some Smash Brothers, Chuck.
I'm going
like,
to tell my
"I
kids
know
this was Smash
that."
Brothers.
Oh, Virtua
Virtua
Fighter 5
Fighter
also.
5.
See, I did not
So-
see that. That's the first time I've seen that.
So the interesting thing about this that I actually kind of like about this is going to be a $30 release on the PS4, and if you have PlayStation Plus, it's free. Which is kind of cool. It's going to be PlayStation only, at least to start.
Oh,
I was
okay.
never a huge Virtua Fighter fan. I never really got into the series. I didn't. I thought one was okay.
Virtua
it
Fighter
was a
2 is
little
the greatest fighting
simplistic.
game ever built. You all
I
hush your mouth.
Sega, what are you
I'm-
doing?
okay,
You remember what
we're just
Sony
going to
did to
agree
you?
you're wrong and move on from
No.
there.
I'm
No.
a Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter 2, and you know those
No.
two were
No.
my games.
No. I mean,
Virtual
they could
Fighter
be your
was
game.
too blocky.
That's why on the Saturn they made Virtua Fighter Remix.
I have a Virtua Cop 2 arcade machine.
Oh,
However,
I
Virtua
love
Fighter
that.
is historically
part of that
hugely
era.
significant, and I'm thinking about doing a video on it because it legitimately was the very first 3D fighter, and it was one of Sega's premier titles all the way
Now it's
through
not
the
like-
Saturn, and stayed one of the premier titles for
through
a
the
while.
Dreamcast. Actually, through the Dreamcast, because on the Dreamcast they did Virtua
Dreamcast
Fighter
is
3 Team Battle.
Okay. But it definitely was a system seller for the Saturn, at least in Japan when it came out.
Yep.
So the game title has been huge for Sega in the past. And to see them revisiting this kind of makes me curious to see what they might do moving forward. Are we going to get stuff like Sega Rally or Daytona USA or some of these other titles kind of being revisited if this does well? Does this mean we're going to get a Virtual Fighter 6? Because this is essentially the last revision of Virtual Fighter 5 that was released on, I want to say 2012, if I did my homework right, that's now being updated graphically and re-released on modern on. Okay,
Yeah, they're actually
we're going to say
using a
modern
brand new
consoles
engine.
because you can't get the next gen still.
Right. There we go.
Oh,
That's what I want.
Whoa,
we
there's
go.
some lightning.
All right, there you go. Now I can. Now we can get back to our regularly scheduled talk. Okay, so being that I'm apparently the only one who truly likes this game.
Yeah, whatever happened to all the cool outfits that the girls used to wear? That was kind of cool.
They did.
Anyway.
That wasn't
Politically
that's
correct
Dead or
with
Alive.
this latest one, and I thought it was worse for it.
Yeah,
That's
but like
Dead or Alive.
Mortal Kombat 11, I still haven't finished. I'm still trying to beat that last chick. Anyways,
Mormon combat.
activate. They're all just wearing one piece, all covering your
Holy
arms,
underwear.
your leg. Yeah.
Right. So, the interesting thing is that
Mitt Romney.
this
friendship.
also
Sorry.
this
Sorry.
also has this is also leading in to tomorrow's Sonic stream because they're doing a big stream on Sonic tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's I mean, Sega's got some stuff going on here, and I'm hoping I'm with you, Nick. I'm hoping that this becomes a revival to to some of their old IP that honestly people have been asking and pining for. You know, we want another Sega Rally. We want another mainline Sonic that is like Sonic Mania, which Sega didn't have much to do with.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that one.
They stepped off.
that was a great
Yeah.
game. I would love a Sonic Adventure 3.
I want to see them
love,
dig back into their old library, though. They've done enough Sonic right now. I kind of agree with Bourne. They released too many Sonic games.
Sure. No, I got you. But they need a mainline Sonic that people can get behind. That, I mean, they have released a lot of Sonic games. The problem is most of them have stunk. So the fact that Sonic Mania wasn't done by Sega is kind of a problem for them. And that's the most popular one that's been out in the last. And that really, if you think about it, was simply a remake of Sonic 1. So it's not. They need a new Sonic. They need a new story. They need a new way to to go. And then they need to dip into stuff like Condemned. They need to dip into stuff like Full Auto, which to this day is a game on the 360 that has held up immensely well. They need to get back to you can't really do Virtual Cop because you can't use light guns on a modern TV.
Right.
You know,
they do got those new ones that are recently, or in the last few years, they've been. I got to look into it where they're at with it, but there was like a Kickstarter, and then it actually went into production. But it was a light gun for modern TVs for all systems, and you could set it for different systems. It came with different adapters. I don't know if it's actually available yet, but it was something that was out there.
Yeah, and I know Polymega was working.
Polymega
on
was yeah.
Oh, did they have one going with theirs too? Oh, wow.
They were working on a Universal, but it's
yeah. So
I honestly would like. I agree with you, Mike. I would like to see Sega start bringing out some of the A-list titles. I think Sonic Adventure could use a revisit. You could come back. Oh, there's John. He's probably screaming at me again. Hi, John.
Hey,
Yeah.
the founder of the show is back.
But they've
Got
had a
trouble
lot of
finding
they've had a
Nick's
lot
channel,
of good
John?
games in the past that went all the way through the Saturn that you could like revisit and you could bring back,
What the hell's going on?
and you could have like almost a complete resurgence of Sega.
Yeah.
In that
This
case,
Sega has not been forward thinking for 20 years plus. But
Well-
this is them, I think, realizing Nintendo is going through their back catalog and doing amazingly well with it. Even Konami is seeing they have some strength in their back catalog, and okay, we'll put out some other stuff. We'll give you a crappy Contra. We'll put out, we'll toy around with Castlevania and put out these collections and stuff. And they're realizing that there is money in their old IP that I think they really have just been putting.
Yeah.
They've been putting half efforts into this stuff for a long time, and I think they're now just sort of. They're behind on it, but they're coming around to that.
I think that they have been relying and kind of leaning on their Atlas games because
Yeah.
those have been great sellers. The Yakuza series,
Yakuza, yeah.
the Persona, the Persona series, all those games that they've been, relying on. And now, yeah, if they could make some of us old guys happy, and bring in some new folks that, maybe didn't experience some of these IPs like we did.
SG 1000 hits. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
well, and then there's Platinum Games too. They generally publish them as well,
right.
so they've got that going for them as well.
The Alex Kidd remake, that's not Sega too, is it?
No,
I don't think
that
so.
wasn't Sega. I think the
Streets
of Rage wasn't Sega. Yeah.
No, it was not.
That wasn't
I
Sega.
love that
That
porch
was
light.
Nintendo.
Yeah, and the Sonic Mania. So they're, for their retro titles, they're basically like, okay, you do it, which Nintendo does on some of their old stuff too, and people do great jobs with it. It's smart in a lot of cases, but I think Sega needs to take a little bit of ownership of some of these licenses that beloved franchises on their old systems that they could make a lot of money with.
I know people are pining for another Bayonetta. Now Bayonetta was Platinum though, but Sega did. But Sega, as Nick was saying, Sega published it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so many IPs that they could tap into that would help them out. Unfortunately, they can't get back into sports because Visual Concepts belongs to 2K. But
I'd argue they could. They would just need to stand up in their studio. They've done it before.
Yeah,
They had some old Sega. There's some Sega
Sports
sports games back in the day. I mean, they were okay.
Yeah, but Sega is so they culled everybody. I mean, it is a completely different Sega now. So Sega in 1998, Sega in 2002, it is not that Sega anymore. They let everybody go.
That's not born.
I just saw that. What about Toe Jam and Earl? Toe Jam and Earl is supposed to be released on Amico. So I mean, not right away, but I mean, it's supposed to be a year 2 or 3 release.
Right. So
According to that Wikipedia, that's
wait. Hold on. Toe Jam and Earl is going to be on Amico.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was one of the first games released in that very first trailer.
That was an announcement back in 2018.
To my knowledge,
Oh shit.
and Rab, double check me because you've got great knowledge on this. Greg, man, I tell you, that head of yours. Toe Jam and Earl is actually owned by Greg Thomas. So I don't think Sega owns that IP anymore. Because when they brought it out on the PS4 and Xbox, they did not have to have Sega's permission.
That's right.
Yeah,
they
I
had,
think if
they
Sega
had like
owned
a weird.
it wouldn't be on Amico. Honestly,
They had a 3D version of that, didn't they?
No. So
Or semi.
So Toe Jam and Earl 3 was the 3D version. That was out on the Xbox, the
That was
OG Xbox.
Yep.
Okay.
3 years ago, they put out, was it 3 years ago? Maybe it was 2 years ago, because we interviewed Greg Thomas. He put out a new kind of old school Toe Jam and Earl called Back in the Groove. That was the best of Toe Jam and Earl 1 and 2. Minus it wasn't a side-scrolling platformer. Yeah. It was like the original isometric, and it did not have Sega's name on it. So it's a little different than what Ed Annunziata is trying to do with his Dolphin game, because Sega owns the Echo license, but I don't believe they own the Toe Jam and Earl license anymore.
Yeah.
So to catch you up a little bit, John, we hit most of the topics for the Amico. So one of the things Carl brought up is Virtual Fighter is getting a release, a new release on the PS4. So it's going to be free for PS Plus members. It's going to be $30 if you don't have PS Plus. It's completely revamped graphically from the last release they did in 2012.
New engine.
Virtual Fighter 5 Final Showdown on a brand new engine.
I like the one they did for the 360. I love that game. I was wondering when they were going to make a new one.
That game. It's the last revision of that exact game.
Yeah, I'm buying it for $30. I'm not even going to think twice about that. I love Virtual Fighter. It's one of my favorite fighting games. It's one of those fighting games that takes a little bit more, I would say, skill with combos and just like a Soul Calibur where you can just button mash a little bit and get.
I had a hard time playing it, even coming from Tekken.
John, right here.
Yeah, even coming from like a Tekken world and
we can agree on
Soul
something.
Calibur and DOA. I had a hard time adjusting to Virtual Fighter. Like the combo system just didn't make a lot of sense. It seemed obtuse for just the sake of being stupidly obtuse.
Well,
and that's not concerned.
You have to play them on the original. I think almost. It's like
I was playing it on the 360. I was trying to learn it on the 360.
Not just that, but I get it, because Tekken had 4 buttons, Virtual Fighter had 3, so you didn't have to worry about high and low punch and kick. So that's kind of the difference in there. So I do get that. It's hard to move to a punch kick block system like that. I get it.
Well, DOA had that system, but it was just easier to use. Virtual Fighter system, I don't know. Like, I had trouble getting most of the characters to do, like, anything, and then the computer was ruthless in that game.
Yeah, but if you could master Land D, you were pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, I think my biggest question with this is if they do this, do you think they're going to adjust it to try to make it more accessible for newcomers to the series? Because that was one of the things that was always held against Virtual Fighter 5 when it came out, is it was not entry-level friendly. Like, if you had not played the franchise before, this was not going to get you into the franchise.
No.
This was not going to be the game that hooked you at all. And Tekken 7 kind of took that approach too. Tekken 7 was not the one that you approach if you've never played a Tekken game before and you don't want to chew on the game for a little while. It was not entry friendly.
Well, I thought Tekken 7 was kind of easy, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, the first Tekken game I played was 2, so.
Well, you played a Tekken game before. That's the point.
Yeah.
If you've played one Tekken game, you understand the system if you've managed to do combos or anything with it before.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, they have not made it more accessible, whereas more games have gone to things like and I know most of you guys haven't played this, but there's one called Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. You could do
downloaded that.
You have like a special button, right? That will do a lot of the specials, and you can do you can press forward when you do it, and doing the specials is very easy. However, they make up for that by the fact that you can combo almost any move into any other move. So while it's very easy to start to understand, it gets very complicated the more you dig into it and the more you can do with it, right?
Definitely.
So they've hit that balance of allowing people to learn the system and grow with the system to where you kind of always have something new that you can learn and figure out in it, which is what a lot of people like me will just go into like practice mode and just beat on things forever. And allowing people to just come in and like hit buttons and still feel like they're doing something useful. Whereas Virtual Fighter will not do that, and Tekken will not do that.
I'm loving that porch light, by the way.
Thank you. Woo!
Not available.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
Absolutely, definitely. So,
absolutely.
By the way, if anybody, all of my buttons are special, sir.
Sir.
I feel like
Excuse
none of your
me,
buttons are
sir.
special. If everything's special, nothing's special.
That's very true, Patrick.
Where
by
is
the way,
Cyrus
for-
tonight? Cyrus, why aren't you on here tonight? What is
I
going
don't
on?
know. Everybody popped
Because
in
I'm
chat. Nobody
here.
wanted to hang out with me tonight. I don't know. Maybe I smell.
Very bad.
I showed up after my workout. Damn.
You did. You did. Mike showed up. Like Rhea
My
ditched
wife-
me. Sai
you know,
ditched
and let me
me.
tell you,
Sai blamed Rhea. It was a thing.
Today, you be happy because today, my wife and I's 19th anniversary. Now she's
What?
good, and she,
What
yeah.
the hell,
So
dude?
she's working. Her
Do I-
her job.
Oh, I was about to say,
Listen.
do I need to like privatize this
No,
after
I
we're
get it.
done?
No, no.
I
That's
get it,
the
Mike.
only reason I'm here.
I
Only
get
reason
it.
I'm here. She's working. They dumped work on her, and she was like, "You know what? So we're gonna go out to dinner on Saturday anyway."
Cool.
When you've been married for
but-
that long, you kind of just like you realize you could celebrate at any time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Like 19 years in and of itself is an accomplishment, anyways. So
yeah. We've beaten a lot of my
congrats,
family,
by the way.
so-
That's awesome.
Thank
man.
you.
Congrats. That's a long time, man. Me and my
Congratulations,
wife are coming up on 15.
Outstanding.
So yeah,
And you're still
I would-
alive.
I know.
I
Surprisingly,
know. That's
dude.
exactly. I'm sitting here breathing. No, we're gonna next year we're gonna do something special. I mean, next year we're gonna figure out for 20 what we're gonna do. But we're gonna go out to dinner, have a good time. My mother's gonna watch the kids, and that for us, that'll be our unofficial.
Mhm.
So,
Someone watching
um,
the kids.
Yes. By the way, it's not gonna be you, Raph.
No,
No.
No, he's just fantasizing at somebody watching his kids so he
Yeah.
can do something else.
Oh, I got it. Patrick asked earlier, just to answer his question, who owns Conker's Bad Fur Day? Microsoft
Rare.
owns them.
I thought
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rare,
that's a
but
Rare game.
Microsoft owns Rare, so yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean they own all the Rare IP. I mean, Donkey Kong Country and all that stuff. Star Fox stayed
Yeah.
with Nintendo. But
Well, that's because
Conker-
Nintendo owned the IPs and let Rare develop the games,
Right.
but
So
Conker
Conker-
was pretty much done by Rare.
Nintendo published.
Yeah, Conker, Banjo Kazooie, those are owned by Rare.
Yeah.
So, and
I'm
trust me, if
Jet
you
Force
think-
Gemini.
Yep, Jet Force Gemini. If you think some of us are mad that Sega's not using their IPs, some of us are equally mad that are Xbox guys that Microsoft has squandered Conker.
You know what? I was happy to finally see a Killer Instinct game for the first time in forever. That was one of the main reasons I even bought an Xbox One. The
And
moment that dropped, I went, "Oh, sold!"
It was awesome. It was awesome. I
Doesn't
still
look like-
play it.
Doesn't look like
Well-
Xbox is making that mistake with Bethesda.
Nope. We're gonna
use
find out more
those.
about that in a couple weeks.
I finally realized I'm celebrating an anniversary here too with this
Yeah?
guy.
Oh,
This guy,
Uh-oh.
me and him have been together for about a year now, and he's
Have you
taken
now?
me. He's taken
About
me
a
out
year
to
now.
dinner.
wow.
Yeah, I always never remember. All right.
Did he get you
Oh
something
my
nice?
god!
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my
Got
goodness.
the
Wow.
soft,
All right.
got the soft cardboard around the cutout. So sweet.
Oh,
Don't.
So-
Anyways, so you don't want to get those paper cuts,
I know. Oh, I don't know.
now it's Amico After Dark.
Yeah,
Wow,
there it is.
it's
I
good.
had to go there. I had to go there.
Oh,
I'm eating. People are making inappropriate comments. Is Amico After Dark now?
yeah. John's here.
Yeah, right.
And John's back.
John,
He's looking at his phone.
John, while you're eating, John and I can talk about the finer points of Sonic CD.
Where's Garvey's comment?
Whatever happened to Carl? He just poof and he was gone.
Carl
Yeah, I
just
don't know
said,
what
I gotta
happened.
go and flush.
But
Carl got
honestly,
sucked
I
up by
kind
the
of
tornado.
like this. Though I kind of like the trend that Sega's trying to do. They're doing this to celebrate their 60th anniversary.
That's cool.
Yep.
Which I thought
Give
it was
us some
their 50th
Golden
versus
Axe.
their 60th. I would love to
Golden
see things
Axe,
like Golden
yeah.
Axe and all that come back. Honestly, I would like to see them revisit like another
Alien
retro
Syndrome.
console, or even try another console at some point if these start to pick up steam.
Don't
It's kinda where I wanna take
tease
this.
me. Don't tease me, Nick.
Dude, I'm not trying to tease you. I would love to see if some of these IPs start to take off. Would they entertain the idea of possibly coming back into the console market one
Nah.
more time?
Go in with a dedicated handheld. It is a market.
Yeah, maybe.
And now the market kind of open now. I mean, the Switch is there, but most people don't use the Switch like a handheld. I know Nintendo likes to think of it like it, but I don't use it
I
in
don't even
handheld
like
mode
doing
much.
that. I used it the other day and it was terrible.
With the Nintendo, with the Switch Lights, you don't have a choice.
Right.
I don't want the Switch Lite though. I get people do. I don't.
Of my kids have a Switch Lite.
Yeah, but if they go in with a dedicated handheld, they could go in at much lower cost. They could put out physical. They've got a lot of the IPs. They could pick up a lot of stuff. They could easily pick up a few million and make it work without kind of breaking the bank on something, terribly innovative.
I think there's more. I think there's more money. Is he a label? I think there's more money.
The chat is amazing tonight. I love you guys.
Yes. I think there's more money in them as a software company, and I think they realize that there's more money in it for them than having to R&D a new console, bring it out into the market. Because really, if the Dreamcast wasn't going to do it, I don't think a new console is going to do it either. I don't know. I think
Dreamcast was critically underfunded, though. They had no money.
They were hemorrhaging money. Yeah, they were hemorrhaging money, and they did not spend a fortune. I mean, they spent a lot, but not compared to the other players.
Trust me, I know the downfall very, very well.
Let's say if you didn't watch my video, because my video covered that specifically, and I blame you if you didn't watch it. Nah,
dude, Altered Beast, yes,
I watched it. Second of all, I worked for a site called Dreamcast HQ. Trust me, I knew Peter Moore back then. So, I mean, I understand what happened to him. My point is to get back to that R&D for a new console, to have to build it, to have, especially in this market. I think for them.
Oh, I wouldn't do it right now. I mean, right now is a bad time to be building. I mean, we're already watching everybody struggle to get consoles out. We're watching the Amico struggle to get parts. We're watching all this stuff go on. Right now is not a good environment to be launching a console.
If I'm Sega, I'm putting my stuff out on, of course I'm putting my stuff out on the PS5 and on Switch.
And on Switch, they have the new Panzer Dragoon. So
all the consoles now have it.
Yeah.
And Patrick put up an interesting thought here, because I would totally be down for this.
Dude, RPG.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I would make a deal.
Get into that.
I would make a deal with Microsoft to get all of my games into Game Pass. They've already done that with the Yakuza series. They've already done that with Phantasy Star Online. Phantasy Star Online. That's been a great boon for them.
Rise from your grave and grind.
And you're also going to need this piece for your quest.
I would make a deal with Microsoft to get as many of my original games and IPs and stuff into Game Pass as humanly possible.
Yep. Well, they clearly did that deal with Sony to get it on,
Yeah, there's been a couple of Sega Classics collections and stuff like that.
Yeah, but Sega games, if like I said, every Yakuza game now is on Game Pass, and they're slowly working in more, but I would sell my games through PlayStation, because what's interesting is people that play games on Game Pass. The people on the other side, on the other consoles, see that, and then they buy the game. So that's what I would do. I would, and then you're making money hand over fist. Plus, you're getting guaranteed money from Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Sega property would you most like to see on Amico? Columns, Zaxxon.
Ooh, Zaxxon would be sweet.
Zaxxon would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yakuza. No, I'm just kidding.
Hello.
I feel like getting Sonic on there. I feel like Sonic classically would be huge.
Coming to you live from Hurricane Bay, the worst hurricane there ever was.
Carl, did you touch down in Oz?
Yes, I touched down in Oz. It's amazing here. Amico consoles everywhere, as far as the eye can see.
Since it's after dark, I got a question for you guys. You guys like Cooters? Cooters in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a great place to visit.
I've heard of that place.
I've
never been there, but
it's the Duke's of
we're
Hazzard
close
Museum.
to it. Yeah. Hey, Carl, do you like movies about gladiators?
You like it when Scraps rubs up and down your leg?
Movies like Gladiator, not really, like science fiction more than anything. It's in fantasy.
God. Oh God! All right. Anyway, what were we talking about? Sega.
I don't remember. Sega. Yeah.
Sega.
I tell you what game I would like. I tell you a game I'd like to see from Sega. Choo Choo Rocket.
Ooh. Yeah. Another Choo Choo. And I know they remade it. I know they remade this for PSVR, but I would love another Space Channel 5.
Yeah. Was Choo Choo Rocket from Sega?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was Dreamcast, but
yes,
there was a Space Channel 9 too.
Because it's on Apple. It's on Apple Arcade now. But
hang on, let me go get it. I actually still have my Choo Choo Rocket, and mine's an import. I will go verify.
So I was saying the show is broken. I'm not really sure what he means by that.
Choo choo, choo choo.
Do you ever hang out outside gymnasiums?
Only when I'm waiting for other people.
No.
What? That was not a good answer to that question, Carl.
No, that was
no.
Okay, like whenever
depending on the age range of the attendees at the gymnasium is not a good answer.
Yeah, that's a really bad answer, actually.
All right, Choo Choo Rocket. Oh, here we go. I got both actually. I've got the import and. All right, Choo Choo Rocket was absolutely Sega.
Okay.
Yeah, because Fantasy Star Online had Fantasy Star Online had Choo Choo Rocket references.
This was a great game. This really was, and one of the very few really good multiplayer out of the box. And online. This was one of the good online games you could play through SegaNet. And here, if I still... Yeah, and the import version... I don't know why I have both. I know, actually, I do know why I have both. That was the import version. Totally different back too. The import. Sorry, the glare. The import version was very minimalistic, whereas the back of the U.S. version was very busy.
More cats.
Yeah. Well, no, it was
fewer cats.
And it was more along. Well, it was
something to do with the cats.
It was actually more gameplay based. Actually, almost no cats.
Tiger's a curious cat.
No. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, that would. But honestly, Carl, that would be a great one to bring back. I'd bring back Crazy Taxi.
Of course.
Or Taxi Chaos.
I mean,
I was about to say there was a Taxi Chaos thing on the Switch that
better.
DJ.
And you've got to bring back Seaman with the voice of Gilbert Gottfried, I think.
Oh my
God! Oh my God! No!
I can't eat any of this. Evolution. I would love to see some more RPGs like they used to do.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I remember Evolution.
Huh?
Evolution was from Ubisoft.
Was it? Hang on.
Yeah.
Was that Ubisoft?
I'm pretty sure it was.
They're too busy making Far Cry games and
hang on,
stuff like that now.
So when it came out on the Dreamcast, it was made by someone else. It was not made by Ubisoft. Ubisoft is not on the cover.
Okay.
It was actually, and you're. I'm not saying that they don't own it now. ESP Sting developed this. Let me look at Evolution 2 because maybe. Nope, ESP Sting, STNG. Or STNG.
Okay, I stand corrected. Skies of Arcadia, Sega and Skies of Arcadia.
Why is there the laser flash going on? What is going on, DJ? What the heck?
Oh, what? Nothing. Go ahead.
I saw that.
Space Harrier would be awesome.
Space Harrier would be sweet.
Space Harrier would be cool. That one hasn't been revisited in a long time.
Yes.
Of course.
I have a great idea. Okay, so there's Cloudy Mountain. There's Cloudy Mountain, right? How about a Fantasy Star styled Cloudy Mountain?
Yeah.
I feel like we've already got a lot going on with Fantasy Star with the two Fantasy Star Onlines right now. Unless you want to give me a mainline standard. they're still an RPG and they're still Phantasy Star. Unless you want to give me like an actual normal console, a normal turn-based Phantasy Star, then I mean, if you want to give me that, then I'm game for that.
Those games cannot be played. The second one cannot be played as a solo.
No, it cannot. And really, the Phantasy Star Online is exactly as the name calls it. If you want to do another Phantasy Star, that's one thing. You can't do Phantasy Star Online with this console. It's not online. That's
what you can do is another Doki Doki Penguin Land.
Could. The other one, no, that was Infogrames, so never mind.
We're just watching Mike go through his collection now.
How about a Dookie Panic?
I mean, we're talking about games like I'd love another Burning Rangers.
You walk through the streets of New York.
I don't remember Burning Rangers. I think I missed that one.
You'll watch my M Classic video, my M Classic versus M Cable video. I've got lots of footage of that. There are a bunch of if I'm looking through my Saturn collection, a modern day Shinobi, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
A modern day Bug. I don't know if you guys remember Bug.
Yeah,
I do. You've shown some of Bug before. I think I've seen it. It might have been on your M Classic video or something. I saw something.
Honestly, never heard of it, but I'm always willing to
Clockwork Knight.
Yeah, Clockwork Knight came to mind because that was one of Saturn's big games.
Yep.
And I mean, Bug was Real Time Associates, so Intellivision had.
Hey, Patrick, thanks for popping in, man.
Wow, DJC getting the love, not the rest of us. That's fine.
I mean, that's Dave Earl. That's Intellivision.
There's so much going on in that back catalog of history and stuff that was even just licensed there that could honestly probably use a resurgence, because I feel like in a lot of ways things have started to get kind of stagnant because things have gotten where they're so expensive that nobody really wants to take any real risks.
I mean, really,
you have the next Call of Duty. You have stuff like Outriders, which
about an Amico
Corpse
version
Killer,
yes.
You've got things like Outriders that, while it should be like an interesting new IP, kind of played it really safe.
Where did Bro go?
He's lurking.
Yeah, he's lurking.
Okay, because Bro, I remember you talking about this one too. This will be soccer.
The thing about Outriders is they penalize you for playing solo.
I never really felt penalized for playing solo. I did it plenty.
Oh man. See, once you get me looking, if we're really talking about now, are we just when you're talking about IPs to bring back, Nick, you're not just talking about IPs to bring back to Amico, right?
Oh, I'm talking about in general. This is a general topic. It doesn't have to be Amico. If it fits on Amico, great. But this is just in general, like IPs. Like Afterburner is a great example. Yes.
I'm definitely excited about Virtual Fighter, the remake or whatever it is.
That's kind of how we got on this. While you were out, I went ahead and showed that, and that's why we got on this.
Yeah,
Space Error, which got mentioned. Yeah, absolutely.
Virtual On. I definitely want to see something about.
Resident of Doki.
And I
love this. Resident Doki Pokemon, Clash of Doki Doki, Cyberpunk Doki Doki.
Ooh, Eternal Champion.
Eternal Champions would be. Eternal Champions was always a little rough to play gameplay wise, but I think if you took if you got the right studio to do it, like maybe the people that did the Power Rangers, and you gave them the license and let them go crazy with it, they could do something really cool with it.
If Konami is sleeping on Contra, what about Gunstar Heroes?
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
Man, Gunstar Heroes would be amazing. What else we got? I mean, there's so much in the catalog, and this is their problem. Is there's so many
30
things
years
in the
of games.
catalog?
Yeah. Well, that's what was cool about the 90s and the early 2000s is everything was still kind of experimental. We hadn't really hit that phase where we had game series outside of sports games that ran every year. Right. Now you've got a Call of Duty every year. You got this every year. You got that every year. You've got GTA 5, which makes so much money that you'll probably never see GTA 6.
I can't believe no one has gone to Tommy about this.
It was Monkey Ball. Yeah.
I actually mentioned that, and one of my videos on like my wish list was something like Monkey Ball or Marble Madness.
Marble Madness.
Oh,
Yeah.
Super
Because they
Monkey
play
Ball.
very
Yeah.
similar.
Yep.
Marble Madness is awesome.
And they
Or,
would work great on the
was it-
Amico.
What is it? Mercury Meltdown.
Super
The Wii
Monkey's
game.
balls would probably be pretty good. Yeah, I agree with that.
Hardy har har, Carl. Hardy har har. Oh.
I'm sorry.
And Si has a
I'm
point.
very, very sorry.
If you want to do a party game, this was not terrible.
I never played Sonic Shuffle.
It wasn't terrible. I actually need to get my kids down here to play that. It's a fun little party style game.
We could use more party style games to compete with like Mario Party, because Mario Party's kind of been the game.
That's exactly why that came out.
There was
You
Fusion
remember-
Frenzy that
I
the
was just
Xbox
gonna
tried
say
to
that.
do.
Yep,
Really?
that's
It
exactly
came to
what I
mind.
was going to say. Right?
Well,
Great
Kids,
great
if you don't
party
play
game.
Super Monkey Ball with me, you're grounded.
That's exactly why Sonic Shuffle came out.
Yeah.
So
well, I think on Amico you have this, or you'd probably be leaning more towards something like Jackbox games, something that is a little more accessible and less, themed.
yeah, but Jackbox kind of needs online, doesn't it?
Doesn't have to.
Not necessarily. I mean,
You know what? Now that you said that, Rab, hang on, I'm gonna go back to let me see if it's not on my shelf because I kind of don't know where to put it. There was a game that came out for the Xbox called, let's see if I can find it. It's called Seen It. And it had, and this is where the Amico controller can come in.
SCENE.
Wasn't that a board game
Scene.
too, or something like
Scene,
that?
yeah.
Scene.
Or-
Yes, but for the
welcome to the show,
version-
Sean.
the
Or
version
people
I had
lurking,
for-
hello.
The version I had for the Xbox had a special controller with 4 buttons.
Well, yeah, like a buzzer. Yeah.
Yeah, like a buzzer.
Okay.
But then you can
Yep.
answer the question with a red, yellow, blue, or green button.
Yep.
Yeah,
The
that
Amico-
we got packed into
Could
the
you
game.
do
I think.
something like
Could
that
just
with an
do that
Amico
normally.
controller?
Yeah, the Amico would be amazing for that. And then
Yeah.
because it's online, maybe for the company, whoever makes it, could actually realistically send you new things to do, so it doesn't become. That's always been the trouble with those games. Once you've answered everything, well,
Yeah.
But what if a company who made it downloaded new content to that game?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Mr. Martin is currently
Oh, no.
available.
Now he did. If he didn't before, now he
Yeah,
did.
an Imperial Nation. I did an Imperial Nation.
Okay, none of us can spell. We all know I can't spell. It's fine.
I always
It's
type
totally
too
fine.
fast, and it's always a typo in everything I type. It's like,
Oh, it's even worse on my phone, man.
yeah.
It's awful. But yeah, I feel like it's time to either do that or for these game developers to start taking a few more risks. Returnal's kind of a good start. It's not a super big risk, but I feel like it's a risk that needed to be taken to kind of start moving out and branching out genres, bringing us something that's at least a little bit different.
I mean, they are
Um,
taking risks, just not the big players. There's so few and
Well,
far between the
yeah,
big
the indie
games that we're all
players-
excited about. It's all
Yeah, the
in
indie
scene.
players are always taking risks and doing new things.
Yeah.
But the thing is you're not seeing any of the major players do it. So much so that there's been multiple articles about how much indie developers are now getting highlighted from the major console players for that same reason. Show that there's something unique there, right? And it's also easy to entice those people. But my concern is as they start to entice those people in and get them in the ecosystem, when they get acquired, where do they go? Because you see people like the creators of like Candy Crush and this, that, and the other get bought out, which had one cool idea and then ran with it.
Mhm.
And now
King or Zynga,
where is PopCap Games? Right? It's owned by EA. And what are they really doing other than just, raking in money from EA on the games that they already have made?
Yeah,
They haven't
updating
really-
DLC packets.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Microtransactions.
Or they're supporting cast for other AAA developers. And that's kind of where they're at. And DJ say, "What the heck? What is going on?" Oh, okay, all right, okay. That's where that went. All right, that's where I was like, "What? Where is I going with that?" I have like no idea. I'm so confused.
This is all written, by the way.
Yes,
we practice this script for every week. We spend practicing this whole script, and we perform it live for you every Wednesday.
Actually, we're just all puppets for Chuck.
We've been practicing our impersonations.
Impersonation.
Chuck is a really good puppet master. You know, he can throw his voice like nobody else.
I got all the strings right here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
RD.
I could have went there.
RD.
RD.
Now I know what you mean, Si, when you were above the RD.
I feel like we're losing everybody.
Of silence.
Yeah, I know. I went weird really, really fast. So, does anybody else have anything else that they found this week that they want to cover? Does the audience have anything that they really want to cover? And you don't want to know, Sean. Don't want to know.
There's a lot going on this week, and of course, we're leading up to, the what used to be right. Instead of yees, it's ease.
Or wise.
What used to be the biggest show on earth, which isn't really going to be, but it's still going to be a big show. A
Cher concert?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what I'm talking about.
She's coming.
Quiet. Anyways.
So we're starting to get a deluge. We're going to start getting a deluge of information, but we're starting to get trickles of it. So, we talked a little bit earlier about Microsoft and Bethesda. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what this really means in a couple of weeks, because June 13th they're doing their first press conference and it's joint. So my only hope is that that Pete Hines is actually going to do that press conference, because I think he is exactly what they need from a PR standpoint to energize people. Don't get me wrong, Phil Spencer gets everybody up Phil Spencer's like the Hulk Hogan of Xbox fans. He comes out and everybody marks for him, but Pete knows how to put on a press conference.
I feel like the people that really need to show up is PlayStation now.
But they're not.
Sony really needs to show up.
No, they don't. They really don't.
I feel like they do.
Really don't. But you think about this for a second.
Sony just does not want to stumble.
Yes, and because think about how this has gone. Sony has had a hell of a time since launch. Honestly, they have games that are running that they're having trouble running. Their big game Returnal is crashing, and Housemarque is blaming Sony. We have the Biomutant thing that just happened where they can't get the PS4 version to run well on the PS5 while the Xbox version runs at 4K. Microsoft has run rings. In all honesty, you're looking at it from an objective standpoint, Microsoft has run rings around the PlayStation in terms of what their console can do versus what the PS5 can do. You still can't put an external SSD on a slot that they built into the system. You still can't do that. Day one, you could do that with Microsoft. Microsoft just brought FPS boost to their backward compatibility, making some games 60 frames per second that weren't on the Xbox One. So that plus all this momentum that Microsoft has got from a technology standpoint, and the PS5 with all of their problems and all of the things going on with them are still outselling the Xbox as far as console sales. Sony doesn't have to show up to E3 because I feel
like Sony needs to show up because Microsoft is kicking their ass so bad right now as far as content goes.
But see, Sony sees one thing. They see money. They see that our console is selling, our games are selling, and people are just going to buy our shit no matter what. It doesn't matter. People are going to buy their games because Sony has built that name. Sony has built that empire, and Microsoft is playing. Honestly, they've been playing from behind for 10 years now. And
they've been playing from behind since the OG Xbox.
No, they were ahead with the 360 for a while.
A little bit, yeah. For the end of the lifespan, I think the PS3 still outsold it.
Yeah,
it outsold it, but it had to work. The Sony was coming from behind for most of the lifespan of that system.
And it wasn't because of the U.S. market. The Xbox 360 destroyed the PS3 here in the U.S. Where they made all that up was in Europe, in Japan, and in places that Microsoft did not even sell the Xbox One. The PS3 was in so many more markets. Microsoft
the Cambodia market killed them.
Yeah, the Sri Lanka market, right? But I mean, places like Germany have always been PlayStation centric. So those places were making up the difference for what the US had. And that was, and in the end, they were neck and neck. So it's not like they blew them away. Yeah. The PS, so Sony has been working on their name, and on the PS5, they're banking on their name recognition, and it's working. So but why show up?
I think just like with the PS3, I mean, the PS3 was an incredible console, and once developers could figure out how to kind of like maximize their games, once Naughty Dog was able to like put out an Uncharted and like really show people like, oh, that is an amazing game.
Can I take a moment and complain about backwards compatibility on the Xbox?
Yeah, okay. I want to know what the hell you're talking about in my Discord.
I thought you were going to say PlayStation. When you say complain about backwards compatibility, I'm going to assume PlayStation.
Elaborate. Okay, so here's my problem. The old backwards compatibility, like they only have 90 of the OG Xbox games on there, and I don't think they're ever going to add any more again.
They just added Psychonauts. They literally just added Psychonauts.
Yeah, it's even on PC.
Oh, all right. Well, I mean, it just feels like they're not progressing on backwards compatibility. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know how many games are actually backwards compatible right now? It's almost 3/4 of their library. I mean, yes, they slowed down. They slowed down in the last year, but part of the issue is there's games that are never going to be backward compatibility because of licensing issues. I've been pining,
good point.
I've been pining for Project Gotham Racing to be backward compatible. They can't because they need to relicense the cars, they need to relicense the music, and a lot of that stuff, I mean, Bizarre Creations isn't even around anymore.
Everybody gets a Datsun.
They need to try to reboot that series, though, or something like it.
I really want Tron 2.0 Killer App on the Xbox Series X because I know it would look so great.
And I agree with you. The same problem that Tommy's having getting Tron is that same problem. They have.
I don't want the disc game. I really don't.
You have to go through Disney still because Tron they own it.
Yep. Yes. And by the way, they just added Fusion Frenzy as well, so that's now in backward compatibility. That was a great game, Fusion Frenzy.
Absolutely.
I thought they stopped adding. So I'm wrong.
No, they did not. What
Disney will give you?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
Titan AE. Just saying, Disney's going to throw out a deal. You want to go with like Treasure Planet or Titan AE, some crap like that.
Treasure Planet failed, I think. I know,
certain. That's why they want to give you a deal. Yeah, it lost, what, $100 million? You got to pay for Tron.
And, EA is at the forefront. We hate on EA sometimes, but if you think about it, both Battlefronts, Knights of the Old Republic, Republic Commando, which I would argue is one of the best of that series of games, Knights Republic 2, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, Jedi Starfighter, all of those are backward compatible. Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy.
Actually, the thing about EA games is whenever you buy an EA game, it's more often than not stable, and it works.
not the OG games. The OG Xbox games were kind of awesome.
Speaking of EA, what about the SSX license, the snowboarding? I think that's awesome. I was just talking about that the other day. Like SSX Tricky was one of my favorite snowboarding games of all time. Just
SSX compatible.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, what I meant by that is like Cyberpunk, for example. If EA released Knights of the Old Republic, the remake or whatever, at the same time as Cyberpunk, it probably would work the way it's intended to. But Cyberpunk will never be completely fixed.
Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with backward compatibility.
It really doesn't.
No, I mean the testament to EA games is what I'm saying, is that people crap on them, but they work the way they're supposed to.
No, I agree with that. My point was is that EA has been a very big proponent of supporting Microsoft backward compatibility, and since they own the Star Wars licensing for gaming up until a certain point, they were able to relicense those games through themselves. Like even Bethesda.
I mean, you do have points. You did make a point.
Bethesda literally in the last after
We're very pointy dude.
Yes, after the Bethesda deal was finalized, they put Morrowind from the OG Xbox into backward compatibility and Game Pass. So I mean, these are games that they're still coming. They just take time because you got to relicense this stuff.
I thought Morrowind was backwards compatible before the buyout.
Skyrim was. Morrowind was not.
Yeah, Morrowind, they never updated. Skyrim, they kept bringing out on like every console.
Yeah.
Even the Switch.
I mean, I remember playing Morrowind on my
PJC's
Xbox
alter
One.
ego showing up.
I remember I bought Morrowind not too long ago.
That's the purple glasses.
Oh, it's the purple ones. Okay, that's right. I'm sorry.
I bought Morrowind not too long ago, and it ran on the Xbox One.
Right.
This is before they were the buyout.
But it was what? Okay, so it went into Game Pass after the buyout. But it was once they announced the buyout, they started working on that stuff. So it's not like Morrowind was always there. So that's kind of the point. Is Morrowind was not always there. So they are still continuing to bring OG Xbox. The other issue is you gotta pick the games that people are going to want to play, and so you can't just bring out. They can't bring their sports games out. Nobody's bringing out Sneakers or Dr. Moto. I mean, that stuff you got to pick
shooter fans, though, and I know you probably are the shooter fans would play Tron 2.0 Killer App to death.
I enjoyed Tron. It was decent. It wasn't the best Tron game I've ever played, but again, you need Disney to sign off on that. And
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah. So
Disney's always slow in the uptake.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're doing what they can. They're not giving up on backward compatibility. It's just you've got to pick
I thought they had stopped backwards compatibility after the launch of the new consoles.
No.
I mean, I'm wrong then. You're right.
No,
yeah,
and then
Microsoft has been really big about being inclusive across all their generations. And honestly, they started out very smart with their consoles.
Yep.
All the way back in the day, because they had a standard architecture, which is easy to basically revamp and make backwards compatible. We've had part of this talk before because the PlayStation always had a crazy architecture on each game console.
Oh my gosh.
Made backwards compatibility a pain in the rear. Whereas Microsoft avoided that by keeping crap simple.
Someone once compared programming in a PlayStation 2 or 3 to programming in Nazi.
Okay.
What is it with you and Nazis?
Here's the other thing.
That's in someone else's words, not mine.
So here's the other thing too that they've been doing that people don't understand. And this was before I got a Series X, when I took a game like Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. It was easily one of my favorite Ghost Recon games. Sans the original, right? And I put it into my Xbox. I think I put it in my Xbox One X. I had the One X at the time, right? And I was playing with, guys that developed the game. And my friend Rich from who is now with Fextra Life and HTK, we played this game. And when we started playing, I'm like, hey guys, anybody else notice that this game's running a bit smoother than it actually ran on the 360? Turns out when they did that backward compatibility, they unlocked the frame rate and the game ran at 60, whereas on the 360 it ran at 30. Now what they're doing is the Series X and the Series S takes all of those games that are backward compatible and adds auto HDR to it, system-wide hardware HDR. So, and that goes even back to the OG games. So Microsoft has done a great job, and they continue to do an outstanding job of library preservation. And that's what they're shooting for.
Welcome to the Microsoft podcast.
I'll tell you what, there's one thing that I really like about their job
I'm
of
just
the
kidding,
backwards
man.
compatibility.
These are all good points.
One of the things I like about their backwards compatibility is that they were re-releasing the physical media of a lot of their backwards compatible games.
Dude, Call of Duty.
I really like that.
Call of Duty, I think it was, I want to say Modern Warfare, the original Modern Warfare. Dude, Call of Duty Modern Warfare shot up in sales of the 360 version when it went backward compatible. I mean, it sells copies of game. So I like I said, that comment just kind of struck me because
I had my reasons. I had my reasons, but I'm glad
reasons because of one game, basically.
Yeah,
is what it seems
yeah.
like.
No, I
can't
have
because
other
of
games.
licensing issues.
I have other games I want to play, but that's the one I know would look really good on that console.
And by the way, the one Tron game that actually is backward compatible is Evolution. By the way.
Oh, I hate that game.
Well, but what do you want, man?
I mean, you're looking for a Tron game. That's the one they could get licensed.
Right. So could they?
True.
Does that? And the other thing too is they're going to look at whether or not people are going to buy Killer App. Are that many people going to buy Killer App that it's worth it to go get that license again? That's something they got to look at.
I think if they had released it, it would sell infinitely more so than Tron Evolution.
Okay, so 5 versus 2. I mean, I still have one of those. I still have one of those.
I was doing okay.
Wow, that was awesome, dude. That was great.
Oh, it was brilliant. I was just letting you two guys go at it. I'm like, it's content.
He wins.
Well,
is that a zip disk?
Is that a zip disk?
The way people these days feel about RPG shooters, that's why I think they like Tron 2.0.
I guess.
Okay, we're moving on for Tron 2.0.
Yeah.
Hey, back to Sega. Virtua Fighter 2, Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown, and Virtual on OT, all backward compatible.
Okay.
So
that's another one that Carl was mentioning, and honestly, that's kind of why I brought the Virtual Fighter on. Not that I'm a huge Virtual Fighter fan. I'll pick up 5, just to play it and to try it. Okay, especially since the PlayStation Plus, I'll have it for free. If I drop PlayStation Plus, I'll just buy it if it's $30. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a great price for what you're getting. I feel like that's about where a remastered game should fit.
I think it's probably I want to say it's a remake since they're using the Yakuza Dragon engine.
It's definitely a remake because the Final Showdown was released in 2012 originally, so it's definitely a remake.
That's what I'm really looking good. Look forward to.
Yeah, they're They're
Is that OG
setting out
Zor?
feelers.
Screech, actually. But yeah, I got the Zora over there too.
But I mostly brought that up to spark the discussion of like different games and genres and things like that.
Yeah.
Particularly Sega that they could bring back out. And I feel like we covered that pretty thoroughly. Does anybody else have anything else they want to cover tonight? We're basically at exactly 2 hours right now.
Let's talk about Simon. Do you know if it lights up and you have to press it to match what it's lighting up?
You know what, Simon? I don't have to adhere to your color Nazism. See, now Charles got me doing it.
I have 5% power left on my phone, guys, so we need to call this tonight.
Yeah, I think now's a good time. The Ouya is a good place to end the night on. We're kind of done.
The Ouya.
Oh, Rav's got something. Rav's got one too.
It's the Ouya.
You got
no.
the super fancy version.
That is the sound clip.
I found that at a
That's the sound of the last of our audience fleeing the room.
I found that at a flea market for $15. I'm like, is that new in box? They're like, never used. I was like, yeah, I'll take it. I'm never gonna use it, but it's gonna sit on my shelf till it's worth something.
You can't use it now. You've got to like side load it to get it working, and it's
Oh, I know what you could do with it.
Yeah,
you ever watch Hellraiser?
I do. Every day.
Okay, so what you do is you take that cube and you basically make a shell for the Ouya for that with that cube design.
Be kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it here. Any last thoughts before we call it a night?
No, it's
buy my album.
Subscribe to everyone on here on the panel. That's for sure.
Yes, please do.
Not after the last 5 minutes.
Hard-working guys.
Yeah, after the last 5 minutes, they're like, no.
I just put my Stinger Spotlight, Mike's most expensive retro games, public. So if anybody wants to go check that out, who is not a channel member. Although,
did you buy Fallout Brotherhood of Steel?
What?
Did you buy Fallout Brotherhood of Steel?
That's not one on the most expensive games list.
Okay, and good night, everybody.
Thanks for watching, pal.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
See you later.